I'm Vanessa Bono. I'm an assistant professor at Columbia Business School, and I'm excited to tell you a little bit about a paper of mine that recently came out in Strategic Management Journal titled Pro Bono as a Human Capital Learning and Screening Mechanism, Evidence from Law Firms. The research took sort of three parts. We first started with a series of interviews where we interviewed practitioners working in legal services, and we were interested in understanding how it is that firms benefit from these activities and what the perspective was of the lawyers themselves as well as the human capital managers who work at these firms. And then based on what we discovered from these interviews, we described and wrote out a formal model that follows Levin and Tadelis' model to sort of essentially predict some propositions that we could then test in our empirical data. At a sort of intuitive level, the role of pro bono is essentially to increase the expected productivity of the junior employee on average, as well as to improve or decrease the noise of the signal, improve the quality of the signal, so to speak, that they receive about future junior employee productivity. And this mathematical model gives us essentially the prediction that we would expect pro bono to be increasing as the proportion of junior lawyers to senior lawyers increases. And this is exactly what we provide evidence for in our data of the top 200 law firms in the US. So I think the takeaways are applicable to many other settings that are also very human capital intensive, and where pro bono takes on the feature of allowing junior employees to take on stretch roles that are more typical of those of senior employees. That's the case in medical services, it's the case in consulting industries, it's the case in a lot of sort of banking industries, and we're increasingly seeing CSR being talked about in companies' websites. It's something I think that executives are becoming increasingly interested in understanding how to implement it well and what the effects are. So I think there's certainly been sort of a surge in interest in CSR from the practitioner community. And so on the academic side, it's really important for us to understand what the implications are for firms that are engaging in this type of activity, why, under what circumstances, how could they do it better.